Hello you, it's me. Now this is a video made by Ray William Johnson talking about what he now, I guess, commonly talks about, which is different crimes that had occurred. And this one in particular really got to me, and I made a comment on it. And there have been so many comments afterwards, so I thought, you know what, let's explain. This is about a story about this young girl, 17 years old, who used to work at this pizza place that this older gentleman, 51, owns. He owns a franchise. Well, it turns out that she was having some really difficult times with her parents, and he says, you know what, you're a good person. Why don't you move into my home with me, and I'll help you take care of things until you can get on your feet. And she says, okay. And for this first 6 months, everything is fine. They were roommates. He helped take care of her. She was working at the time, not at his establishment, but I guess somewhere else. So she was bringing in some of her own money that she could use for herself, for the little things. But he was very generous to her, bought a nose job for her, $6,000, and also, not so great, he would provide her with lots of booze and apparently drugs, which isn't good, which also might align with what we find out about his character later. So 6 months go by, and she's now 18 years old. And so this 51-year-old guy confesses to this 18-year-old girl that he loves her. And she is just not interested. She saw him as a father figure who was taking care of her, not as a boyfriend or a husband. Now he gets mad at this, and he says, if you're going to stay here, you're going to pay rent, and you're going to sleep with me. And she kept saying, no, no, no. She has no place to go. She doesn't know what to do. She's 18, freshly 18. So finally, she gets drunk and she sleeps with him. And his abuse continues. He forced her to have another surgery on her posterior, and then says, okay, you had the surgery, now you have to pay me back for it, even though she didn't want it. And it's escalating worse and worse. What this is called is grooming. You groom somebody underage to trust you, and then once they trust you, you start pushing the envelope a little bit more and more. Oh, you got to pay for this. Oh, you got to pay rent. Oh, now you got to sleep with me because I want you. And you just keep pressing it and pressing it. And the pressure for this kind of a situation is incredible. It's unbelievable. You have no place to go, but you don't want to stay here, and you don't know what to do. And you owe this man an incredible amount of money, a lot of which he forced on you. Now, what she did next, I don't condone. What she did next was kill him, unalived him, whatever you want to call it. And what she did after that I thought was very interesting. She went to the beach and looked over the beautiful water, knowing that she was going to get caught. She wanted to see it one last time, which to me does not mean she was a vicious, nasty person. She was just trying to get out of another bad situation. Now, did she kill him? Yes. Should she go to prison? Yes. She did the crime. She has to do the time. That's how it goes. Now, originally, they gave her 50 years to life, but then they reduced it to 25. Now, my comment was good, because although she should not have done what she had done, it's almost understandable given the situation. She was so much a victim, and she was desperate, and she didn't know how to get out of it. Again, I don't agree with how she tried to get out of it, but it's almost understandable. And that's essentially what I said. I said I'm glad they reduced it to 25 years. She still is paying the price for her crime, but she was also a victim, and that should be acknowledged when you are sentencing somebody. But for some reason, so many people don't understand what grooming is. And it definitely was very frustrating for me. At this point, I'm just reading comments. I'm not responding. But that's what grooming is. You put your trust in somebody, complete and total trust. So when they start moving the boundaries and start going into territory that they shouldn't be doing, you don't necessarily realize it right away. And it gets very confusing because you think, oh, this is a trustworthy person. A lot of people like this person. Why do I feel so bad around them? I must be wrong. Especially when you're young. That's how you're going to feel. You're going to put the blame on yourself. Oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's my fault. I should trust him because he's a good person. And the cycle just goes on and on and on. And people say, well, why didn't she just leave? Well, where was she going to go to? You know, in her mind, she was captured and she didn't know how to escape. And I really wish people would start to think more about that. Now, if your mind is just so innocent because you've never experienced something like that, thank God for you. But try to put yourself into that situation where you have nowhere to go. I don't know what's happened with the parents, but obviously it wasn't great. She doesn't have any other relatives that I was aware of from the story. She felt trapped. And she did, I guess, the only thing she could think of at that time. And it's sad. Honestly, it's really sad. I wish she had gone to a shelter or gone to the police or, tried to reach out somewhere else before she committed this crime. But she didn't. And it's not surprising because she was just freshly 18 years old. And a lot of people at 18 don't know the world. They know a lot of bad in the world. They don't know a lot of good. And they don't always know how to seek help, which is why it's so important to put it out there so that people know what you can do in a situation like this. But anyway, I am glad that they reduced her sentence. I think it's a sad situation. It sucks, but she is doing her time. And I hope when she gets out, that she has a really nice life. For the rest of her life, for what is left of her life. Anyway, that's all I got to say.